Hello there guys, Below10,000 here, bringing you another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate video, and today I am going to be talking about the 16 newcomers that I am going to be putting my money on when it comes to being revealed over the upcoming few months. Now, on Twitter, a few days ago, I released a bingo card of 16 different characters, and I am basically going to be using these characters in this bingo card until the end of the roster speculation time, until the entire roster is revealed, and I'm going to see how many of these I get right. These are the 16 characters who I feel are the most likely, and I've kind of ordered them in specific rows in order of which ones I think are more likely than others, stuff like that. And I think I've got a pretty nice mix of characters here that can appeal to just about everybody. I had to miss out on a few characters. I couldn't add anyone like Rivali because I didn't think he would happen. I didn't add Dylan because even though I want him, I don't really see him happening, stuff like that. But these 16 characters are the ones who I feel have a really good shot at making it in. And we're going to go from the bottom left, and we're just going to make our way around, and I'm just going to randomly pick different characters so that I can talk about all of my favorites when I want, rather than an arbitrary rule. So let's start off with Ken from Street Fighter as a Ryu Echo Fighter. Ken from Street Fighter is the eponymous Player 2 of the Street Fighter franchise. He is Ryu's rival. In his original games, he was literally made as a clone of Ryu. Yes, he has distinguished himself nowadays as his own playable character, but as we saw with Dark Samus, that doesn't really matter, because you can have all the unique abilities in the world, but if they want to make you an Echo, they will strip you of all of your uniqueness, except for your animations, and they will force you to be an Echo Fighter. So Ken really is not immune to being a unique newcomer. I think the Street Fighter franchise is going to get a bit more love, given that it was a DLC franchise in the original game. And now that it is not DLC, it is actually a franchise that is in the base game, we're getting more music, we're hopefully going to get some more, maybe an assist trophy from Street Fighter. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'd like to see maybe an Akuma boss fight, something like that would be really cool. But I feel like Ken is a pretty solid Echo that we can bet on. There are multiple leakers who are also betting on Ken potentially making it in, and I have a good feeling about him. I won't say that I'm that hyped about him, because I don't really play Street Fighter. I was more of a Tekken kid, but you know, I think if we're gonna get a fighter from a traditional fighting game like Tekken and Street Fighter, I think Ken is the most likely one, far more than Heihachi in my opinion, which is why Ken is that representative here. So moving to the right, we have got Dixie Kong. Now, everybody has been speculating Dixie Kong as an Echo of Diddy, or Dixie Kong as a unique newcomer. Personally, she's going to be an Echo or she's not going to be in the game at all, because if she was a unique newcomer, I think she would have shared the trailer with King K. Rool, and they could have had her come in and save DK and Diddy at the end. They didn't do that, which makes me think if she's in the game, she's probably going to be an Echo. Now, I've gone over my reasonings in Rate Their Chances as to why I think she's going to be an Echo, mainly the fact that she doesn't have a tail, and Diddy's tail combo seemed to be taken out, possibly for Dixie. She could have her own aerial recovery, because as we've seen with Chrom, Echo Fighters can have different, like, one or two different moves that differentiate themselves from the fighters they are echoing, because he has Ike's up B and not Roy's. So I think that it is completely possible that Dixie could just have a different recovery and just a few different animations on some of her attacks, and she could be an easy Diddy Echo. I think she's really likely because I think she was wanted just as much as King K. Rool. I believe she almost made it into Brawl as one of the Forbidden Seven. I just think she is extremely possible, and as we saw with Dark Samus, you don't have to be revealed with your series' main unique newcomer to get into the game. I really think that Dixie is coming, and that is why she is on this bingo card. Now, to the right of her, we have got one of my more controversial opinions. We've got Decidueye from Pokemon Sun and Moon. Why is Decidueye here? And then I'm looking up on the bingo card, and I see another Pokemon from Generation 7 there as well. Why are there two? Because they're not both going to get into the game, Billy. Well, I kind of feel that one of them is likely, and you know, It's that old saying where if you throw 3 darts... This isn't an old saying, but if you throw 3 darts, you're more likely to hit your target than if you throw 1 dart. And that's sort of what I'm doing with Pokemon. I've basically picked the 2 starters that are more likely to be a character, because I really think we're going to get a starter, because Primarina I don't think is ever going to happen. So Decidueye is one of my Pokemon picks. He's one of my favorite Generation 7 Pokemon design-wise. He was obviously in Pokken, so he has fighting potential, and I just love the archery owl motif. It looks insanely awesome, and I'm hoping that if he isn't a playable character, that he is at least a Pokeball Pokemon or has some sort of representation in Smash, because it would be a genuine shame not to have him in the game at all, because he has got a lot of unique moves. I believe he's a ghost type as well, right? A ghost grass type? And that is just a really unique sort of typing that I think is just really interesting. I do think that the other Pokemon on my bingo card is more likely, but I feel like Decidueye would just be such a breath of fresh air, and I would love to see Decidueye make it in. He's one of my lesser likely ones, which is why I've kind of put him in this little spot on the list, because I don't think he's going to get me a bingo, so I've kind of popped him out of the way there. So moving on to the right, we have got Shantae. Shantae from WayForward's Shantae series is an indie character and a third-party character. Now, everybody has been making the assumption that because Shovel Knight was made as an assist trophy, how the heck is Shantae gonna get in? Personally, I think she's more likely than Shovel Knight, if only because she has more of a history on Nintendo's platforms. Yes, in recent times she has gone multi-plat, and yes, that strength and that bond with Nintendo isn't as strong as it was when she originally debuted. And yes, there are a lot of people arguing against Shantae because people are like, oh, they only want her for fan service, which is wrong, by the way, she is a cool character. Really, I don't think that matters. I think that if we were ever going to get an indie character as playable in Smash, I think Shantae or Shovel Knight were the big two, and I do think Shantae will be somehow playable, not playable, but if she is playable, that's great, but I feel like she will be represented in the game, and that's why I've kind of got her on this bingo board, because I think she's a pretty safe bet. She has a very big fan base, some very vocal fan base members, and I remember that WayForward themselves actually wanted people to vote for her during the Smash ballot period, which I think was kind of cool, you know? If you want your character to get into Smash, obviously you want to rally your troops. It's completely normal, and I think that if the ballot is important, I think she did fairly well there, and I think she could make it in. So, yeah, that's why Shantae is here, basically as the indie rep of the group. So, moving up, we're gonna go up one, and it is Rayman. Everybody knows Rayman. Rayman is Ubisoft's, little mascot next to the Rabbids. He is a platforming legend. He has some pretty great games. I've never played them myself, but I have heard so many good things. I know they're good just from looking at them. He's a cool guy, and he is a third-party character. So initially people are kind of hesitant because, you know, we've just got Simon, we've just got Richter, and Ubisoft hasn't worked on Smash before. Here's the thing, though. Nintendo and Ubisoft have this brilliant relationship at the moment where they have Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Star Fox is now in Starlink Battle for Atlas, which I'm going to be buying, by the way, so who's to say that Rayman can't come to Smash? I mean, they've got the sort of good consumer business friendship with Nintendo where they could probably leverage something. And if we're remembering back in Smash 4, Rayman was exceptionally popular due to the artsy Omni leak, which got people voting for him when the Smash ballot came around. There were thousands upon thousands of people who wanted Rayman in the game, and no doubt they voted on that Smash ballot. No doubt he placed somewhere. There's no way he didn't place at least in the top 30. I think he definitely had to have broken that. Top 50 at minimum, I think. And he just seems like a really likely third-party character that some people are sleeping on, I feel. A lot of people have been saying, though, that because Rayman is now in Brawlhalla, he is less likely to appear in Smash. To everyone who's saying that, please keep in mind that Ubisoft literally bought Brawlhalla. Like, they bought the company that creates Brawlhalla, so of course he's gonna be put into that game. Ubisoft wouldn't pass that opportunity up. We see that Ryu can be in Marvel vs. Capcom, and he can also be in Smash, so really, Rayman being in Brawlhalla means nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't hurt his chances. It doesn't help his chances. It is a moot point. It doesn't matter. It's just people grasping at straws, that's all. Really though, I do think that Rayman is one of the more likely third-party characters to get in, and that is why he is on this list. So, let us go up actually. We're gonna go up to this little Echo Fighter right here. We're going to Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, everyone is convinced that Shadow is going to be this next big Echo Fighter. Everyone has got him on the lists. I've got him on my lists. I'm okay with him as an Echo Fighter now, seeing as Echoes can have a few unique moves, one or two maybe, after Chrom, who knows, and Sakurai keeps breaking what Echo Fighters really are with every reveal, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Shadow is from the Sonic franchise, he's from Sega, and I feel like if they're going for an easy second Sonic character and they don't want to develop a unique character like Tails, I think Shadow is the way to go. You can make an easy Echo, he's just black and red Edge Sonic, and I just think that Shadow is like, he is prime Echo material. We've already got Dark Pit and Dark Samus, so Dark Sonic, Shadow, it's just kind of following the trends at this point. Given that Echoes seem to be filling out the roster because they can't create so many unique newcomers, I think it makes sense to just try and get what they can. And Sega's probably okay with Shadow. I think they'll be fine with putting Shadow in as an Echo because they know it's going to make them money, and given everything we've seen about Echoes so far, I would genuinely be shocked if Shadow didn't make it in. But if I was proven wrong, I'd love to see the reaction on the internet. Moving up from Shadow, we have Impa. Now, Impa is interesting because I have her as an echo of Sheik, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind if she was a unique newcomer as well. You see, Impa is probably the most recurring character in the Legend of Zelda franchise outside of the main three, outside of Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf. So it makes sense that she would potentially be the next person to be added. She is not like a flavor of the day character. She has been around for as long as time, basically. She waited for Link for many years in Skyward Sword. She became leader of the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time. She was really big in the Oracle games. She's a lovely woman, and she's a badass. She's a freaking badass. Hyrule Warriors Impa, everyone really wants her because she's got this giant sword. She's got some slight kind of like water powers. She can use hydrokinesis, which is really cool. And I think that it would introduce a really unique moveset for her. Now, the reality is, if she's getting in, I think she's going to get in as an Echo Fighter of Sheik, because then they can kind of bring in her Skyward Sword version, or they could just take the Hyrule Warriors version, take away the sword, but then give her Sheik's moveset, because she is a Sheikah. Impa is a Sheikah. She is like the leader of the Sheikah most of the time in most of the games, so it makes sense that she would have a Sheikah ninja moveset. She trained Sheik. She makes sense as an Echo, and I think if Legend of Zelda is going to get a new newcomer, it will either be her or someone who we'll be talking about later, and Impa is kind of one of my main wants, which is why she's kind of in the corner, because I don't know if she's as viable as some of these other characters, but I think that she could happen, and if she does, I would be ecstatic. So we're going to shift back down past Rayman, and then to the left we are going to the Octolings. Now, a lot of people are going to be wondering, Billy, why are the Octolings on your list? They are so new. Well, I disagree. They existed since Splatoon 1, only they were enemies. They weren't playable. They've become playable very recently, but as we know with Echo Fighters are characters that take less time to develop, and chances are, if they knew that the Inklings were going to be getting into Smash, then they could have actually asked the Splatoon 2 dev team, hey, what are the Octoling designs going to be when they eventually become playable? Can we use them in Smash? I'm a little less certain on the Octolings than I am the other Echoes, if only because I feel they would have been announced already if they were in. But I kind of feel like they're an easy Echo to make, and if they don't make the base game, they're probably going to come in as a DLC Echo Fighter. I just feel like they have more of a chance than people let on. Like, the relevancy bias, not the relevancy bias, the relevancy argument, the recency argument, I don't think it really affects Echo Fighters, especially the Octolings, because they are just simple reskins of the Inklings. That is exactly how they play in Splatoon 2, so they should be easy to implement, right? So we're going to move to the left of the Octolings Echo now, and we're going to go to our other big Pokemon on the list. We have got Incineroar. Everybody has been speculating Incineroar ever since that DM was leaked that Verge said, oh, the Gen 7 Pokemon is probably Incineroar. And at this point, I'm starting to believe them. I really think Incineroar is probably the most likely new Pokemon we're going to get, unless they throw a curveball and it turns out to be Sceptile or Gardevoir. Oh god, hell. Really, I just think that Incineroar is a very likely candidate if they are going for Gen 7 representation, because going for a starter is always a safe bet. Incineroar has been used in promotional material and is kind of being shown off as one of Ash's important Pokemon in the anime. He had a movie role. He's just kind of been everywhere, and he represents a style of character that we haven't actually got in terms of a fighter in Smash yet. He'd be a grappler, he'd be a wrestler. We haven't actually got a wrestling-type character. I mean, at most, the closest thing we've got is King K. Rool with his little back slam, where he breaks people's backs, that one movie's got. That's probably the closest we've got to a wrestler, and I think seeing Incineroar wrestle with King K. Rool would certainly be extremely interesting, and could create some really interesting event matches. But really, the main draw to Incineroar, I think, is just that he has a lot of fans, he's very popular, and if they want to go for a safe Generation 7 rep, he's an easy guy to kind of do, and he's got kind of interesting concept art, which Sakurai might like. And because Generation 7... and because a Pokemon usually gets special privileges when it comes to Smash characters because it's such a big franchise, second biggest media franchise of all time, come on guys, it's pretty much likely that we're going to be getting a Pokemon, and it's probably going to be Incineroar. Now, if we go to the left of Incineroar, we see the little apple boy himself. We see Mr. Bandana Waddle Dee, Bandana Dee, the Kirby rep that it feels like half of the community wants and then half of the community despises. It's really weird, because Bandana Waddle Dee is the natural player 4 of the Kirby games. He is the player 4 from Kirby's Return to Dreamland onwards, and he has been featured in pretty much every game onwards in varying roles, even becoming the official player 2 of Kirby's Canvas Curse, I think it was called, the one where Kirby was clay. It was on the Wii U. Rainbow Curse, I think it was. I don't think anyone played it. Not many people played it, I don't think. It was a good game, though. So he's been featured in tons of different media. He deserves a sort of reward, I feel, because he's a popular character. He's a spear wielder, which means he's using a weapon that we haven't seen before, where he could actually launch his spears. He would be both a ranged and a close-up fighter. He would have that sort of versatility that I think could be really interesting and really unique. He's also one of the 3 Dream Friends that you have in the base game for Kirby Star Allies, which is pretty big, I've got to say, given it's the most recent Kirby game, and he was developed by Sakurai back in Kirby Superstar, I believe, so it's not like Sakurai bias is going to harm him or anything. The thing with Bandana Waddle Dee, the main issue I see with people arguing against him is that he's a Bandana Waddle Dee. That's literally him. He's a Waddle Dee and he's got a bandana on. Well, maybe a Goomba with a hat should get in. The difference between a Goomba with a hat and Bandana Waddle Dee is that Bandana Waddle Dee has a confirmed personality. He has been a playable character in multiple games now. He has a unique moveset that no other Waddle Dees are capable of, and he has distinguished himself as a character. It's like saying, I don't want Mario because he's a human and we have other humans in the game. It's like, if you want Mario, then why not just get a baby instead? Why not add a baby to Smash? It doesn't make sense as an argument to me. I feel like if you're barriering off characters just because they are the same species as like a minion character, then you're just stifling creativity, and you're no worse than Article 13 of the European Union. So that's topical. So yeah, I think Bandana Waddle Dee deserves a spot in Smash. I think he should be the next Kirby rep. I would rather have like DeRoach or Marks. Well, not Marks. I would like to have DeRoach, because I grew up with Squeak Squad. But I think that Bandana Waddle Dee is the next rep that should be given to Kirby if Kirby gets one. I think, putting personal feelings aside, he's earned it the most, and that is something we can't deny. So we're going to kind of shift our way around. We're going to go back to Incineroar, and we're going to go up. And there is Isabel. Isabel is an echo of the villager in my little bingo card. Isabel is a lovely little secretary who everyone has been speculating is potentially going to be getting in the game because mentioned by Verge, obviously. I think she's going to be an Echo Fighter, because making a unique new moveset out of Isabel, a character who's not really known for fighting, is a little bit difficult, and while you can make movesets for every character, you have to think, is this viably going to work in Smash? How do you balance it? Stuff like that. I feel like it would be very simple to just kind of give Isabel an axe and just say, chop down some trees, madam. Chop some people up. Become the psycho you were meant to be. Really, I just want Isabel because I want to destroy her with Ridley's final smash, because it would be hilarious. I think she is a very likely Echo. Animal Crossing is insanely popular. Isabel is insanely popular. She is like the new face of Animal Crossing, and her popularity definitely won't be lost on Sakurai coming into this game, because now Animal Crossing is in its second Smash game, so clearly they'll be looking at the content that Animal Crossing's got, they'll be adding a few extra things in, like maybe some new music tracks, and then they might just think, okay, let's add an Echo as well, because, you know, we've got some human Echoes, maybe we should get like a little kind of villager Echo who's got a bit of a different body proportion. I think it would be interesting. I think Isabel is just a really safe bet, and I would really like to see her added. So, moving up from Isabel, we have Paper Mario. So, this is totally not just me wanting a third Mario, so we can have 3 Marios, 3 Links, and 3 Samuses, but really, yes it is. I would like to see Paper Mario because he would represent the RPG Mario games as opposed to the mainstream Mario games, and he has his own unique mechanics and his own unique weapons and attacks that could be translated into the game that would make him different from normal Mario. You could choose to make him an echo of Mario, but instead kind of just change up the weapons he uses, but have them have the same effects as the weapons that normal Mario uses if you really want to, but I think he could be a unique fighter. I think this is one of those ones that could just jump out and surprise us. It would be an interesting inclusion. I don't think anyone could be mad if it's another Mario, because it's such a unique Mario type, and we know that this Mario is canonically different to the actual Mario from like Mario and Luigi in the actual Mario games because of Paper Jam. So it is completely possible for him to exist alongside the actual Mario, and I think it could work out really well, and I just kind of want to see it, really. So if we move to the right of Paper Mario, we're going to get to the one of the 2 characters who I feel won't be happening tomorrow, but will definitely be happening further down the line in a Smash Direct, in my opinion. Hello, Banjo and Kazooie. So, Microsoft is interesting in that they are currently pretty good with Nintendo. We've got the Minecraft crossplay, they were agreeing with each other in regards to Fortnite against Sony, you know, just ganging up against the PlayStation. It's great fun. I think Banjo and Kazooie, they were one of the biggest requests, I think, in the Smash ballot, and they definitely got votes, they definitely made it up there. The question is, are they realizable characters? I think they are. I think it's 2018, Microsoft is willing to play ball, they know they'll make money out of this if they put Banjo and Kazooie into the game, and they represent the Nintendo 64 era of 3D platformers in a similar way that Mario did for Mario 64. They really kind of cemented and represent a lot of children's childhoods, a lot of old school Nintendo gamers' childhoods, and I think they would be like the perfect retro rep to add. It will be great to see them have this dramatic comeback because, quite frankly, Microsoft isn't doing anything with their franchise, they're just wasting away, so just give them to Sakurai. That's what Capcom did with Mega Man, and look what he's on now. He's got Mega Man 11, you know? It can happen. You can save them. You can save them, Microsoft. I do think they're possible. I think out of all the third parties, though, they are the ones with the hardest negotiations, but I think they're possible. And if we go down when we get to our final third party, it's Mr. Gino. Gino is one of the biggest requests I remember from Smash, period. I know that he has been requested for many years alongside people like Ridley, K. Rool, Isaac, others. He has been one of those big requests. You hear him in like every speculation video. People really think he's going to be coming, and I do as well. I think the stars have aligned, pun not intended. And I think this is his time. You see, Square Enix already has Cloud, their big moneymaker in the game, and we know that they were willing to give Sakurai the Gino costume at the Smash 4 DLC, so who's to say they're not just going to give him full-on Gino now? They know people will want him. People will buy this game for Gino. Gino was a large part of a lot of people's childhoods who grew up with Super Mario RPG, who perhaps didn't enjoy JRPGs, but then kind of found their way into the genre through that game. Gino is a massive part of these guys' childhoods. I know it would make a lot of people happy. Shout out to Papa Gino's. It would make him very happy, I'm sure. And I think it is his time. I've personally not played Super Mario RPG because obviously I live in Europe. It didn't come out officially until just a few years ago, I think, right? For us, and I just haven't been in a position to play it. But I do know how important Gino is to the community, to everyone who wants him, and I just feel like there is nothing stopping him now. Square was stingy with Final Fantasy music because it costed a lot of money. That's like an argument people were making, like, oh, Final Fantasy only got 2 music tracks, how the hell are we going to get Gino? Well, yeah, as I said, Final Fantasy music costs a lot of money, and Sakurai had a column recently where he talked about music and how if they were expensive, they weren't going to get it. That's why Final Fantasy has 2 tracks, whereas Gino and Under the Forest Mushrooms and Super Mario RPG music probably wouldn't cost as much as, say, One-Winged Angel, you know. That being said, I do wonder if Gino could get beaten out by another Square rep, because, you know, we've got Chrono, we've got Lara Croft, we've got all these other little Square icons that could get forced in there. But really, I think people who are saying it, I think they're being a little bit pessimistic. I think Gino has the chance. I think Sakurai has more weight to his words than people think, and if Sakurai wants Gino, he can get Square to give him Gino. He convinced them to give him Cloud, so I think he can get Gino. So we're going to move on to our final 2 characters, and these are the 2 characters who I would say are most likely to be revealed tomorrow, if they are going to get revealed, and I do think both of them could be making it into the game. We're going to go straight to the top left corner. We're going to start with Skull Kid. Skull Kid is a character I have had a rocky relationship with over the past month, because quite frankly, I don't really agree with any of the Skull Kid leaks. Like, I have been vehemently against the LOZ Loz leak, even though me and Loz, we get on really well on Twitter. I don't believe him when he says that Skull Kid was being leaked. I don't really trust him at the moment in terms of that information. And then Leaky Pandy said, oh, Skull Kid's gonna be a boss character, and obviously I'd only looked up Leaky Pandy's information from like a few months prior, which all seemed good and proper. Didn't realize that he leaked a Nintendo Direct in January or something and got it all wrong, so I look like an idiot for calling him reliable. But I do think that Skull Kid has a big shot at being in the game, whether playable or not. Now, if he's playable, I will be hyped. I will be so happy, because I have been dying for a Legend of Zelda newcomer for a long time, and there were a lot of people in the community who told me when I suggested this, oh, there won't be any more Zelda newcomers, we don't need any more, like, come on, you guys are well represented already, like, you've got so many stages, you don't need more characters, you know, these are legitimate conversations that people, like, kind of said to me when I was talking about, like, new Zelda newcomers, because obviously I really want some, like, Rivali and Skull Kid and all that, and people were kind of dead set against that, and it was kind of weird, because I feel like a lot of people downplayed Zelda's importance. It is one of Nintendo's biggest franchises. I know Pokemon is, like, the biggest media franchise next to Mario, but I would argue that Zelda is probably the more interesting of, like, the big 3 Nintendo franchises, Pokemon, Zelda, and Mario. So it was crazy to kind of hear that, and I kind of feel like if Skull Kid got announced, it would kind of put away all those naysayers, and I would certainly feel some satisfaction. The thing is, though, at the same time, I really don't want Skull Kid to be the next one announced, because then it's going to confirm to everyone that those bloody chairs were actually a thing, and it's gonna make speculation very difficult. It's really gonna make speculation very, very difficult. So I've got very mixed emotions when it comes to Skull Kid, because he obviously didn't perform well in the ballot, from what we know, because from all the fan polls and consolidation polls, he didn't perform very well. But he was popular pre-ballot. His game's remake came out the year of the ballot, which is kind of a big deal. And Majora's Mask as an item is one of the most well-known, recognizable Zelda items ever, next to like the Triforce and the Master Sword. It is that eponymous with the series and with gaming culture as a whole that I think it could potentially cause Skull Kid to get a fast pass through the ballot straight into the game, and I would be okay with that. I would be so okay with that, because then I would be forced to change my viewpoint. And I'm also going to use this as a time for Rate Their Chances, just quickly. I'm going to be boosting Skull Kid to a 50% instead of a 40%. I'm just doing that right now, off the top of my head. Just going to do that, because I think that he's a little bit more likely now, so just throw that out there. I think he could get revealed tomorrow, but at the same time, all the leaks were saying he would, and that makes me want him not to be revealed tomorrow, because there is someone else that I want revealed tomorrow who I think will be in the game, and we'll get to them in a second, but Skull Kid I really think could be in the game this time, either as a boss or as playable, and I would bet money on seeing his face somewhere. I don't know, I don't think he'll come back as an assist trophy. I think he will definitely be in the game. So finally, we move downwards from Skull Kid to the character that I talk about at the end of all of these types of videos, because I like leaving him till last. Isaac from Golden Sun. Isaac from Golden Sun is my most wanted character. You all know this. You all know about Golden Sun. I've made many videos on why I want Isaac in the game, so let's just talk about why I think he could be in the game. Firstly, the Smash ballot. We showed up for that Smash ballot. The Isaac fans, we showed up, we slayed, we conquered, we voted. We don't know if he made it to the top, but based on consolidation polls, based on fan polls, we did pretty goddamn well. Aside from that, there was the Rathalos tweet picture, which looked suspiciously like a Golden Sun angle. Now, I'm not gonna say that that is definitely a reference, because it is a bit of a leap in terms of logic if it is a reference, and I don't necessarily believe it, and I'll probably only believe it if Isaac gets announced. But I just feel like Nintendo does not have a lot of new first-party IPs announced for this game, and Inklings is currently the only one that is out. We know that ARMS and, we know that ARMS probably isn't going to happen because it was way too recent, so it makes sense to delve back into some of your old IPs, and Isaac has been a request for as long as Gino has. He's been around since just post-Melee, because his games came out in 2001, and he's been requested for Smash ever since Melee ended, so I personally think he is most in line, in my opinion, to finally get that playable chance, along with Gino, along with Banjo, along with Skull Kid, along with all of these characters. I think Isaac just needs it. Well, I mean, I think Isaac needs it the most, because his franchise is fucking dead. It's been dead for 8 years, and this is the only way we're gonna get a revival. This is the only way that the Golden Sun is going to rise, and I really do feel that tomorrow it is going to rise. Now, I do have another reason why I think Isaac will be in the game, specifically in tomorrow's Direct, but I'm not allowed to talk about it because it is somebody's theory on the Isaac Smashboards forum thread, and they wanted to make their own video on it, so I'm not going to take their theory and just make a video on it because that's not cool, at least not without their permission. So I personally think Isaac is going to be in the game. I would bet the most money that he is going to be in the game, even though he hasn't got the highest rating on my Rate Their Chances because I'm a pessimistic fuck. But he is my most wanted, so of course he was going to go on the bingo card. Now, if we look at this bingo card as a whole, which rows am I most confident in? Any with Isaac, so Isaac, Isabel, Gino, Shadow, and Skull Kid, Isaac, Bandana, Ken. Those are my most popular, most definite rows that I think could definitely happen. If we include diagonals, really, actually, those are the only two rows I think could happen. I don't know about any of the others. I think if we're lucky and Shantae and Decidueye end up getting in instead of like Incineroar, then maybe we could get that bottom row as well. But really, all my eggs are going into the Isaac row. So we will see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway. Who do you guys think are going to get into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? And if you guys want to make your own bingo card, there are tons of templates online. I got this one off of Twitter, so it's easy to find. And share with me your own personal bingo cards. I want to see who you guys think are going to get in. And I will see you guys tomorrow for a predictions video for the Nintendo Direct, an updated one from my previous one, and then tomorrow evening for the reactions. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. Hey there guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help me out every month, make sure I can keep doing these videos for you guys. Their names are down below. If you want to become a patron yourself, there is a link down below to the bottom right that you can take a little look at. There aren't too many cool tiers or rewards or whatever, but you do get access to a Discord. It's pretty cool. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching again. I said that 3 times now, and goodbye.